great to be back with you, and contrary to the news media, our mountain is not burned to a crisp. Our home is fine. We're just waiting for them to basically say that all little things are taken care of, and we're going home. Hopefully today. We're knowing that it's going to happen really soon. It's been a long time since we've been to our house. So yeah, on vacation they came home to, oh gee, you can't go home. So it's been an interesting process. But when I was coming up with this, the ideas around this, so here we go. About this talk, I was wondering, he says, what does it mean to be kind of, you're not on the same page? Has anyone, with a significant other or a friend or something like that, just not been on the same page? Okay? Like every week. The thing is that I was thinking about that. I was looking at what time in my life have I really been on the wrong page, or at least different than my partner. And it was one time that it was before Dr. Catherine and I had made the commitment to get married. We were dating, and we're finished up our chiropractic education, and we're in the process of things continuing to unfold in a very positive way. It was pretty evident we were heading in that direction. But I forget exactly where it was, but I turned to her and I said, I really like you. And this was not what she was looking for. She was not looking for that at all. She said, this is the experience that you are not, we're not going to share this, this marriage thing. So I was totally on a totally different planet than where she was on this point, because I'm thinking, I've had relationships in the past with my with partners, with friends, and things like that, and I found that to have, in my personal experience, to have a healthy, long-term, sustainable relationship, you have to be a friend with that person, regardless of anything else, because love does have a tendency to. Was that?
Amen.
I said amen.
Amen. Oh, thank you. Do I get another one?
Amen.
But that was my experience, and I ended up. I was thinking, okay, I want this relationship to be healthy, because frankly, I knew that this was a keeper. I knew that there was a wealth of experience that I was going to have with this lovely woman, and she was definitely the one that was going to help make that life experience more robust for me. So anyway, she was definitely looking in one direction. I was definitely on a different frequency. And that's what we talk about when we talk about spiritual broadcasting systems, is that we are always tuned into something. Now, we're all vibrating. In fact, at every single level there's vibration. If you take a look at all the way from spirit, God expression, the highest level of vibration, as you descend in that vibration, it comes down in the energy of the different gifts that the divine shares with us: love, peace, power, joy, beauty. These are just different vibrations of the universe. And God really is the ultimate vibration. God really is the ultimate source of the vibration. And basically, as the vibrations tune down, they come into the different forms, because once they've gotten past that, they come into the different emotions, the human emotions, the feelings of challenge and fear and things like that. We come a little further down the road. We come into the world of form. We start looking at, oh gee, there's something different about me than that person. There's something that's maybe better. And then we continue on all the way down to the point we get down to rocks. Okay, I shouldn't dismiss rocks. Shouldn't judge them. Rocks are doing what rocks are supposed to do. It's just at a different vibration than what I choose to be at. So the thing is that there's a thing that we go around with, saying, do you vibe me? You get my vibe? I said, well, yeah, if you're on the same channel, yeah, you probably do. And frankly, that's the beauty about being part of this experience, is that we all are part of the part of the system. Dr. Holmes tells us in The Science of Mind, says that all form comes from one substance. It's made manifest through vibration. This further helps us to see the relationship of the world to the formless. It teaches us the indestructibility and eternality of energy and the cosmic stuff. So what Dr. Holmes is telling us is that everything is basically descended from one source, one substance. And that vibration, that energy basically permeates everything that we see, experience, and know. We're vibrational beings. That kind of is the gift that we were giving, is that we have the ability to tune in to different things. We're constantly broadcasting ourselves in different ways, because not only are we receivers, like the transistor radios that we used to have, well, maybe some of you had, but the thing is that it's not just a receiver, we're also broadcasting. We're also sending out, because every thought, every experience sets up a vibration in your own life, and guess what? That expresses out. If you hold a particular thought and saying, I know that I am love, beauty, and joy, and you continue to hold that experiences that is who I am, that vibration goes out. And guess what? When that goes out and touches other people, it actually draws more people that are beauty, love, and joy in your life. It just shows up. Because all things that have shown up in your life are actually originally from that original vibration, from that original thought. Call that a mental equivalent, and that's one of the things that, if we understand that simple little idea, there is so much that's available to us. Yeah. There is so much that allows us to be who we are, what we can be, the full potential of what we're looking for. So, we attract to ourselves things of similar vibration. So not to be indelicate, but what have you drawn into your life lately? There might be some things that I could think is, maybe I would like to have a different experience. Maybe I would like to have something other than what showed up. And guess what? We all got that stuff. We all got it. It's not something that is just unique to you, even though you may think it is. It's not unique. I've actually had the opportunity to share with lots of people that they are dealing with stuff. And the thing is that, okay, the good news with that is that, gee, that's what showed up today. You have the power to change your world. You have the power to change the world. But let's start with your world first, okay? Let's just start working on us, because that's actually where the power really lies, is we fix ourselves. And basically, like Michael Jackson told us, the man in the mirror. Basically, what happens is that you basically have the ability to change yourself and change it in such a way that you now become a magnet for other good in the world to show up around you. And as you become that power of change, that transformation, that allows you to become more of your authentic self, more of who you came into this form to be.
Yeah.
You know, as we live our lives, we have lots of opportunities to test this theory. We have lots of opportunities to say that, gee, I am a powerful transformation, and I will create the experience that I want to. Or we can kind of go along with race consciousness and say, gee, everyone is dissing this or that, or they want to basically condemn the local the politicians or the church across the street. I mean, I've actually had that experience. I have a daughter who lives in Alabama, and southern Alabama, southeastern Alabama, and I mean, just to look at the pages and pages and pages of churches in the Yellow Pages is just amazing. I mean, basically, they should have a whole separate book for just them. It's like 50 pages of just churches. So there's lots of churches. There's a lot of judgment around that. Well, the thing is that if we're in the process of creating good, how do we get past that? But we have to make a decision that when someone is doing something that does not support the idea of a world that works for everyone, that's kind of the guidepost that we need to focus on, because that is what tells us what needs to be changed. Because if it's not working for everybody, then it needs to be tweaked. Now, it might be working for some and not others, and that might be a little bit of good, but we're looking for the bigger picture. We're looking for a world that works for everyone. So when something isn't working, we want to take the opportunity to participate in the solution, not be part of the problem. We don't want to take the energy. I mean, everyone's been had the experience of walking into a room and there was, there was some discord, there was some arguing, something like that, and you can just feel the energy. Basically, says, "Wow, this is negativity." And how many times do we sit here and listen to this, and all of a sudden we joined in and said, "Yeah, that person is a no good person." I mean, how many people have done that? I mean, I have to admit I've been guilty of that. I also recognize now that what I'm doing, and I start changing it a whole lot faster than I used to. But the thing is that we all tend to get swept up in that. The thing is, you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. So when the opportunity to go down that road exists, then you now have a choice. You have a choice to be a different expression of yourself. To be that higher power that says, that isn't necessarily so. That might not be, that person may not be expressing the highest level that they are. I still see the God in them. I still see that energy that exists within them that allows them to be the 100% person that I know that they can be. It's already there because I know it's already in me. And as I make that choice, I have now stepped into the transformative phase of my experience, because now we actually start looking at things from a different level. You haven't sunk down to the level that basically is creating more lack and fear and hate and anger. I'm going to make a new English language by the time I get done with this one. The thing is that you have an opportunity to grow a little bit more, to be mindful of the environment that you're in and allow it to show up in a different way. It shows up in such a beautiful way when you allow it. When we do pay attention that there is a vibration out there, and if we decide to allow it to be the expression that we want it to be, then that power now becomes a director in our minds. And basically it says, oh gee, now that you've really made the decision to do this, guess what's available to you? If you decided to be more love, then more opportunities to love show up in your life. If you've decided to see, I am beauty expressing, then more beauty shows up in your life. It's one of those wonderful little serendipities that go along with the idea that God really wants to give you the kingdom. You have to choose to be part of it, though. Because if you choose to be part of the lack and the limitation and the contraction and the smallness that we can be, and you see it all around you, because race consciousness tells us, gee, there's not enough around there. Gee, there's not enough food. There's not enough. There's no one good running this business. There's no one helping the poor. I mean, whatever is there, you can be part of that energy, or you can say, well, that's not necessarily so. Yes, there's a need. Yes, there's a need. And frankly, that's what we're here for, is to give of ourselves. But we want to resonate at the idea that the answer is there. The answer is part of who I am. I am part of the solution. And when you choose to allow that to be who you are, then the vibration that you've chosen is a higher one. We've talked about how it feels when you walk into a room when you basically feel this negativity. But the other part of that is true as well, is that have you ever walked into a place and you go, oh, I'm home? Most of us that have walked into a religious Science of Mind church have had that experience, because we realize that I didn't realize there are people that thought this way. I didn't realize that there was someone that could accept me for who I am, and not that I have to change before I'm accepted into the group. So you have the opportunity to just feel that vibration, because when you walk into this church, you should feel that vibration. If you're not, then please feel free to talk to me, because there is not an opportunity beyond the love that shows up in our lives that, I got off on a sidetrack there. So basically when we're looking at the process of love expanding, basically is that we recognize that love. We vibe to it. And frankly, when we vibe to it, all of a sudden it raises our energy level, and we start vibrating at a different energy. So when we come to church, and that's why we want to come together as a church, is that it gives us the opportunity to allow that love to grow, allow the peace to grow, allow the joy to become part of who I am. I'm sitting here looking at my notes and realize that I've got about a 4-hour sermon here, so I'm actually triaging just a little bit for you, just so we get out before the sun sets. But what we're looking for is that there is an opportunity for you to transform yourself, to change that energy expression, whatever vibration that you've tuned into. You can realize that I can change the channel. I can now see that there's a different vibration that's possible, and that different vibration is something that's desirable. And all of a sudden I see the opportunity for me to be a better person than I have been before. I get to be the person that I thought that I really was when I came into this world, but the world tried to convince me otherwise. This is not something that is limited to a few. This is not limited to any one individual. But when I send you out and say, "Well, let's go out and change the world," it sounds good, but most people that's just a little too much for them. So tell you what, let's just start with us. Let's start with what's going on inside. Gandhi told us, be the change you want to see in the world. That's what that means. If you want to see the world become more supportive of refugees, then you become that person that supports those refugees. If you're the person that sees that there is racial tension in the world, and you want to be the person that actually allows that to dissipate, to be non-existent, so that the judgment and lack, the thinking that doesn't allow people to be who they really want to be, simply because of who they just showed up as in this form. That all of a sudden that now is not there. And you can be part of that energy that moves that forward. And there's lots of people that are doing it, but there's lots more that need to do it. So I'm calling out to you. What do you want to be? What do you want to show up as? What do you want to be as far as the expression of who you are? Your authentic self continues to unfold. I'll have to admit, when I first started this idea of going to taking classes in the science of mind, I'm a student. I mean, let's take some classes. I learned a lot. I learned that I needed to learn more. And so I kept going to classes, and I said, I need to learn more. In fact, now that I've actually gone through the ministerial training and done several things past that, I still recognize I need to know more. I still need to grow. I still need to be more of who I really am. Even though I've grown immensely, there's still more to go. There's still more to grow. So, recognizing that we are the radio wave receivers and basic broadcasters, we're participating in this vibration thing that we just talked about. We vibe to certain things. So tune to, if the channel that you're on is boring, then change the channel. If for some reason it's not solving the problem in your life, change the channel. Because there is something out there that will do that for you. There is that. And if you haven't seen it yet, you know, they went from, 7 channels when I first started watching television to now it's like 9,000 of them. There's a whole lot more than that out there when we're starting to look at the vibrations, because there's all sorts of subtleties and things that go with it, allows us to be a full expression of the divine. When we broadcast ourselves into creative law, into spirit, we recognize that we're actually giving back of something that we've received, because as we receive, we continue to give. And that process of giving and receiving goes at multiple levels. It goes at the spiritual level, it goes at the physical level, it goes at the financial level, it goes at the relationship level. There isn't a single example that escapes that giving and receiving. And so as I look forward into moving myself into a place that I'm ready for the next step to grow, I see many things show up in my life. And one of the little serendipities is I was writing this talk yesterday. Some of you may have seen a post that I put on my Facebook page. If you aren't part of my group, feel free to friend me. But it was a quote by Lao Tzu. Some call him Confucius, but that's the people that read it basically know that. But basically the quote was, if you want to awaken all of humanity, then awaken all of yourself. If you want to eliminate suffering in the world, then eliminate all that is dark and negative in yourself. Truly, the greatest gift you have to give is that of your own self-transformation. And once you get done with yourself and you continue to grow, then you can give a little bit of yourself to something bigger and something grander and something more that basically transforms the world, not just you. Because first of all, we have to get to the point that we realize that I need help. And things, if you already, if you don't know kind of how to move forward, that's what our classes are doing. And actually, with the prosperity class is only one opportunity. We'll have lots of others that are available to you. The thing is that classes are a good way. Meditation's a good way. This is the first place, as I said, it's the first stage of maturity, just recognizing that I need help. And then once you've kind of gotten past that point, then the next stage is, okay, I got this, okay, and I'm going to continue to grow because I understand a little bit about how this works, so I'm going to continue to grow. And then the next step past that is that please let me help you. And that's the point that I want all of us to get to, is that we've actually gotten ourselves so healthy, so understanding how this thing works, that the church is thriving so much that we have to go do something else. We just can't not do something else. And there's a lot of things in the community that we can do to help expand our outreach into the lives that we touch. But we have to get to a point that we're ready to do that. And even though some of us may be, we need to get most of us ready to do that, because we need to have that level of support. So with that said, like I said, I tried to truncate this, and I think I did okay. I mean, like I said, there's still 4 talks waiting to be talked about, but we'll get to those later, I guess. So I love the opportunity to be here and talk to you again. Please change the channel if it's not working for you. And when you change the channel on your television, think of, am I watching the right channel that's going to feed me? Is this going to do this? And frankly, am I vibing to that love expression? Am I vibing to the beauty that I see in the world? If for some reason, if you're not seeing that, then you're probably watching the wrong channel. I'm just here to tell you that you have the power to change the channel. Namaste.